everybody, welcome back to Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Meshi, and we're on episode 2. So, I am so excited to see what other concoctions or dishes we can work up in this series. I'm hoping that we get at least like 1 or 2 dishes maybe per episode, and that will give me a good indicator of what exactly I'm going to be cooking in the future. Because I wanted to go ahead and have the first dish I made be separated out into episodes 1 and 2, because that way it would give me a little bit of prep time to get things ready for obviously episode 3's creation, which would probably be from episode 2. So it'll just be, and maybe there'll be a dish that seems way too complex or seems out of my taste range, and I'd be like, I don't think I want that. Like, for example, I'm allergic to cocoa, so if I have any type of chocolate, it will make me sick. And a lot of people are like, oh no, you're allergic to cocoa. No, trust me, if you've ever had a food allergy, you know firsthand that how it makes you feel is so bad, it trumps every possible happy feeling you might have with that food. So I used to eat chocolate a lot, and then I started getting sick really bad. And so finally we narrowed it down, and I stopped eating chocolate and I stopped getting as sick. And then I had it one time in college and it was just like, nope, you can't have this. So it was a lot more severe. So basically, I don't want to like be like, oh, I'm going to cook whatever dish is in episode 2. And then it turns out to be like a chocolate dish or whatever the dungeon version of that is. So that's kind of my rationale. We'll just see as we go and pick out the ones. I might be asking Patreon which dish they want me to make. I'm recording this way super in advance so that I have time to do that and prep the food and all of that good stuff. But we'll just wait and see. But I'm kind of glad I'm recording ahead and early with this series because I'm kind of obsessed already. And I'm only 1 episode in. It's just Laios is so good. I talked to my brother the other evening as he's helping me record this, and I was like, I really like Laios, and he was just like, And he's very stone-faced. He's like, I'm not telling you anything. He's like, you don't want to be spoiled, so I'm not gonna say a word. And I was like, So I like Laios a lot. Marcille's fun. She's very neurotic. She feels like the worrywart of the group. Like she's constantly like, well, what do I do this? Every group needs one of those individuals, right? But she also looks like she can handle like pushing her buttons and getting her upset. I have a friend from high school that's exactly like Marcille, where she's just always like, well, I just can't believe you do this. But she really has a good heart. She just is kind of fun to mess with. So I get it. And then we have Chilchuck, who is so cute. I love his character design. I love his big ears. He seems like kind of the laid back one that's kind of just like, let's just get along, guys, and just go along with the group. And then we have Senshi, and I love him. He is just as enthusiastic about monsters as Laios, and his whole thing is, oh, you're going to go in the dungeon and cook things? I want to come along too. So he is our Sanji. But he's not interested in the ladies, he's interested in the monsters. I'm like, all right, let's go. So I'm super excited. These 4 look like they're going to give us a lot of fun adventures. I'm curious if our party will grow. The OP had some extra characters. I'm not going to look too much into it because I want to be surprised by the show itself. But with that being said, I'm super, super, super excited to see where it's going to go. So I hope you all are excited. I definitely am, but we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive right in to Delicious in Dungeon, aka Dungeon Meshi, episode 2, y'all. I'm so excited. And we're going to dive into that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Yeah! Oh my god, I love the little mushroom. It's so cute. I usually don't like skipping intros. Oh, I don't remember all of this. And there's Fallon. I didn't remember him with the sword in his Himmel pose from Freerun. And Chilchuck. I love Senshi in the forest. That's really cool. Yeah, and this guy that left the group along with this person. And yeah, we don't know them at all. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I'm assuming, yeah, that's Fallon in the Belly of the Beast. Uh-huh. Interesting that she seems like somebody to like bring them all together. And then you turn it up and there's Laios. Yeah, so it's Laios and his sister reaching to grab hands. Okay. There's just so many characters and elves and all of this. Yes. I'm like, is that Laios falling into a pool of blood? Or is it Kool-Aid? Oh, yeah! Get some river dance. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Does Marcille have... Oh, is she an elf? Aw. I love her little braids. Aww. She looks a little haggard for an elf. Aww. Oh, that's why it's a dream. It's a nightmare. Ha! I love they're all whittling. Or cutting an apple. Obviously. Oh. Oh, it's not their food. Oh. Breaks my heart to see it. A travesty. Oh my god, the food pyramid's all messed up. Wow. Malnutrition! Ah! Now that I'm off my soapbox. Oh. Elf girl. So she has an elf. Okay. She's like, that didn't answer my question. Eggs would be great. An omelet. Make an omelet. Grab them. Just say it. Wait! Is this Sasoya playing him? A basilisk! Oh! Oh! We didn't look up voice actors last episode. We need to do that. Oh, that we're mixing more than one species. Oh! A combo. The cockatrice and a... Oh! A cockatrice! Like in Berserk? Huh. There's one of those in Berserk, a cockatrice. Interesting. Yep. And basilisk eggs. Yeah. And squishy. Ooh, I don't know if I like squishy eggs. Oh my god! I love Chilchuck's eyes. Oh my god. Oh, creepy. Oh no. Come on, Marcille. What we gonna do? You've got its eggs in your clutches. Nope. Not good. Oh god. Oh my god. Come on. What? Is Laios gonna attack it? Ah! What? Yeah, just save her. Oh, damn it. Oh my god! Love it. Pretend we don't know him. Oh. Oh my god, and then they tag team him. Yes. Oh, of course. And that's how you do it. Wow. Oh my god. KO. Oh no. Oh no! He's dying! Oh. Oh my god. Oh, the chicken feet! Oh my god. It does look like a normal chicken. Oh my god. Yeah, we're not cooking a whole chicken. That ain't gonna happen today. Or probably on this channel. Unless I bought a rotisserie chicken that was already done. Aw. Eloise like, I'm dying, but it was really good. Oh. It's like, come on. Eat the chicken, damn it. Is Lias eating it with a fork? This girl's like, are you for real? I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chicken. Nice. Aw. Oh, 3 months? Really? Oh no. Ooh. Oh. There we go. Senshi's gonna be your motivational personal trainer for the next 3 months, bitches. Get ready. You're not welcome in our group, but have fun with that. Aww. Why not? Okay. So it's gonna be 3 months. Well, they just said they spent 3 months in that dungeon. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh my god. Oh no! Oh no! Aww. Oh, he says his sister's doomed. Interesting. She reminds me of Farnace from Berserk a little bit. Huh. The secret path. Oh, she wants to feel like she's needed. And stock up on all the food that we can. I mean, it is just meat and eggs. He just talked about a balanced meal. Mandrakes. Oh. Those are like little radishes, aren't they? Ah. Yeah, yeah. They're like little radishes, kind of. They were in Harry Potter growing up. What? A dog and a leash? Where you gonna find that? Yeah. Oh my god! Why are we killing dogs? Yeah. Yeah. Well. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Oh my god, that's all I had to do. Oh. So we're just book smart, but we don't got street smarts. Oh no, girl. Well, not necessarily. Oh. Girl, no! Just get the mandrakes! Girl! Girl. Just get the mandrakes. Don't worry about trying to impress them. Oh my god, girl. No. This is a bad idea. This is a very bad idea. Marcille, girl. I know we've got to start her out from square one and build her up. Oh no. Oh shit, no! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh shit! It's a stupid idea! The dramatic screen. Is she dead? That's stupid! Ah! Oh no! Huh. Oh. Oh, I like Laios. Oh. Oh. He's just slid through for the blood! He's got my damn blood pudding out of it! Oh my god, with her face! Her face! Oh. Oh. There we go. Ah! Oh my god. Omelets! There we go. Yeah. That's so gross. Oh my god. Oh. And stir fry them. Oh. Okay. A Mandrake and Basilisk omelet. It is more yellow. Huh. Ah. Oh. Maybe that's why the efficient way wasn't the way to go. Uh-huh, okay. The cookbook! No! I would not eat that at all. It's like crawfish heads won't do it. Oh. Oh. Oh, nice. Nice. Ah. All right. Oh, I love it. Yes. Since she's like, all right, yes, sir. Uh, there's obviously gonna be. Ooh. David Tennant, I swear. I'm working here. Well, how do they know that? I wasn't paying attention to that. They should put some paint on his feet. Oh, shit! I was gonna say. Don't get the details! Oh my god. Last just disassociated. Oh my god! Oh my god! Senshi! Get off it! Oh my god. Oh my god, no! Oh my god, he's gonna use that! Oh, half foot! No! Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! His eyes are like Mr. Popo's. True. Magic. Oh. You didn't say what Laios does. Is that like blood? Oh. Right, he's got a lot of pressure. Look at you, Laios, being a beacon of... Huh. Hmm. Don't worry! Oh, I'm worried! Oh no! Oh my god. These dwarves, they're built different. Ah. All right, sure. Yeah! Yeah, oh my god! Oh. Those are indeed. Oh my god. Oh my god. You got this. You got this. You're putting Chilchuck in a lot of dangerous positions. We might be making omelets from this episode. I don't know if we're gonna do tempura or a damn fried chicken. That's a lot. My brother will probably kill me. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, I love it. Nope. Nope, too much. Huh. Deep frying is a different thing. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Marcel's like, I don't know, this might be too greasy. Mmm. Yeah, that would be hard. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Oh. 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 Do I kind of ship Chilchuck and Senshi? Oh, please. Oh, please. This could go bad. Hmm. Aw, that's like their teamwork. Aw. Yes, as it is with meals and with people. Oh, how cute! Oh, I love Laios with a little outside. Is that Fallon out there? Cute. And there's Chilchuck watching them. And Marcille. Oh, I like Marcille with the ponytail. Adorable. Okay. Yeah, so Phelan or Fallon. Hmm. And that was the one that was in the party before, the dwarf girl. I love this artwork. And there's the other guy that was there. Oh, and the three of them meeting. Oh, that's just making me ship Marcille and her more. Because they're siblings. Yeah. And showing how the teams met each other. Nice. Love it. Oh. And there's a dragon. We see like Senshi there. Oh, see the two of them? That makes me want to ship them even more. Okay, and they're all meeting up to go in the dungeon. Nice. Nice. All right. There we go. Oh, and that's the end of it. Oh, man. Well, okay. Yeah. So, usually the second episode in series are very hard to like match up to that energy and excitement of the first episode because the first episode's the pilot. So, you're trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening, whether you think you're going to like the series or not. And usually the second episode is where it kind of like the third episode is where they're like, they get you. They're like, okay, we got to hook you in by the third episode. The second one is like, okay, we've kind of established who the characters are. We're going to dive a little bit more into them. In the third episode, we delve more. I thought this was a really good second episode, but damn, this show goes by fast. It is like the fastest show I think I've ever watched. I was like, oh, we're already done? We've already made it through the 25-minute episode? What? So I did not last time go through and see the voice actors for, I just did the IMDb's for the top 4 characters we have so far, which is Laios, which is Marcille, Chilchuck, and Senshi. They're the only 4 that I've looked up. We'll find the others out as we go. I meant to do it last week and that just didn't happen. So, interestingly enough, so the voice actor for Laios, he's been in a lot of things. A lot of things. He's in Haikyuu. The ones that I know him from, he was in Haikyuu. He was Fukutani, which is interesting. He was in Millionaire Detective, he was Shinosuke Kame. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe that's where I know that voice from, is from Millionaire Detective, because it's not been that long. He was Jimmy in Yarichin Bitch Club, which is like, yes, please. If you were a voice actor in Yarichin Bitch Club, we're going to have fun with you. So that's going to be exciting. Other than that, he's been in shows that I know of, but I haven't watched. I'm looking, he has like such a long list of shows that he's been in. Those are the main shows that I know him from. But he's been in a lot. So that's really, really cool. The voice actor for Senshi has been in a lot of things. A lot of things. They're Garp from One Piece. I was like, I knew that voice from somewhere. I knew Senshi's voice. I'm like, where have I heard Senshi's voice? He's Garp from One Piece. Of course he is. He's also, I'm trying to think, been in My Hero Academia. He's been Ukai in Haikyuu. Of course he has. I love that they know each other from Haikyuu, which is fun. Also recently, he's been in Spy Family. He's also been, he was Chapel in Trigun Stampede. So, nice. That's where I've seen that too. Just in so many different things. Senshi's voice actor's been in a lot. And my dog is like, throw the toy. They were being ridiculous during that reaction. But he's been in a lot of things. I'm like looking through here and it's just like voice actor credit after voice actor credit. He was Sasha's dad in Attack on Titan, Mr. Browse. So he's been in a lot of things, but that's so cool. And he was Esther in Seraph of the End. Lots of stuff. So awesome. I love that. And South Kai and Dragon Ball Z Kai. Cool. Nice. So that's Senshi. Senshi's voice actor has been in so much. You all will probably comment down below what else he's been in. Marcille's voice actress has been they're in some more recent series. They've done additional voices for like Demon Slayer. They have been in The Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime. My brother likes that show. They've been in Golden Kamui, which I've not seen yet. They've been in Pokemon. Bocchi the Rock. They've been in that series, which I haven't seen yet. I'm trying to see if there's anyone that I know of. They've been in the movie Bubble, which I eventually want to see. What else? Anything else? Oh, they were a voice in Skate the Infinity, so that's really cool. They've been in Beastars. They're Haru in Beastars. Okay, that's where I've watched season 1 of Beastars, and I was like, what's that voice? So that's where it's from. They've also been in Food Wars too, which Laios is voice actor as well. So these voice actors all know each other from other projects, which shouldn't be surprising. They've also been in JoJo's. Marcille's voice actress has been in a lot of things. So cool. Nice. They've been in a lot of series that I want to see. Oh, they were Olivia Webster in Violet Evergarden. Cool. Nice. So yeah, they've been in a lot of different series, a lot of which I still have not seen yet, but want to. Oh, and they were Izumi in Puella. Oh, that's in the side Puella Magi Madoka Magical Story, the record one. Okay. And they've been in Detective Pikachu. As you would. Now, Chilchuck's actor, or actress, right, Chilchuck's actress is Asuna Tomari. Okay. And they are in a lot of recent series, like My New Boss is Goofy and Windbreaker and all of those. Maybe they're a pretty young voice actor, so they've not been in stuff that's too... What else? Oh, they were in 86. They were Nozen. Oh, the kid version of Shinai Nozen in 86. Okay, so they were the kid version of that. Gotcha. They were, Kyo, Soma, and Fruits Basket in the remake. Okay, nice. They were Higuchi and Heaven's Design Team. I've not seen that one. And then that's pretty, and they were just a random voice in Yona of the Dawn. Wow, that was like their first voice role was in Yona of the Dawn as just a random voice. And look at where they are now. Nice. So cool. So for some reason, Lio sounded like Hisoya at some point when I was listening to the episode. So that's why I was like, oh, is this Hisoya? But no. All right. So this episode talked a little bit about Marcille and kind of get a little bit back on her. She's our elf. She could not be more different than Frieren if she tried. I watched Frieren earlier this year, which had an elf, and Marcille is nothing like her. So, which I'm glad. I'm actually surprised because normally in fantasy stories, elves are presented as very, very ethereal, very elegant, very posh, very bougie, or at least very stoic and assured of themselves, which is why Marcille is such an interesting character because she is not like I normally think of with elves at all. And I kind of like that. I mentioned in the reaction, she reminds me of a character named Farnace in Berserk, in the sense that, because in that series, she's not a mage. Well, we're not going to talk about Berserk. But she reminds me of Farnace in the sense that she wants to feel wanted and she wants to feel needed and she doesn't want to feel useless. And so for a little part of this episode, she does feel like she's not contributing anything to the group. She's like, well, Laios has a sword and he's a warrior, so he's fine. Senshi's cooking us all the food and knows all the things about cooking, so he's fine. Chilchuck knows all the secret entrances and is a thief and he's a pick and knows how to get into like a locksmith, knows how to use all those skills, so he's fine. She's like, I don't know what I'm contributing. And I love that Laios is like, you're a mage. You're doing magic. We need you. So I always find it interesting when characters doubt themselves, but obviously have skills that are necessary and that are relevant and needed. And then the other characters have to be like, girl, you sure? So I like that. I like that we'll also talk about her questioning like how to do things here in this episode, but her mom looks very interesting. Elves are some of my favorite like class of characters in fantasies. So I always really like the elves as a species in stories because they're usually very stoic. So Marcille being that's why I didn't really comment on her being an elf in the last episode, because she does not fit the trope of an elf at all to me. So I didn't even notice it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the ears and everything, right? I was too distracted by Chilchuck's ears to notice Marcille's. But I'm very interested with her character. I like that we kind of went ahead and got her little doubts out of the way this episode. We got 24 episodes, so we're just gonna get them doubts out of the way. I definitely understand her coming from, she reminds me of the trope of the posh character that, is not used to roughing it or used to having to use street smarts. And so she's like, but I don't want to eat monsters. And since she's like, well, you're going to need to if we're going to pass this dungeon. And she's like, ugh. So I share in her sentiment of being worried. And then what the funny thing is, what she smelled was the breakfast that the other party was having, which was just bacon on buns. And while my family eats a lot of bacon, and I will admit bacon smells amazing, I'm totally with Senshi that eating a little tiny brioche roll with a slice of bacon on it may smell good, but in theory, I don't know. I also like that their group had an elf mage as well. I'm like, are all the elves mages in this world? But they had one as well too, which is funny. They all seem to have everybody has a cookie cutter warrior team. They look slightly different, right? You have to have a dwarf, got to have an elf, got to have a thief, got to have a warrior, all that stuff. I do wish in the episodes they would give us the translations of Netflix, which is where I'm watching this on, does not want to give translations to the Japanese words, whereas other streaming services that I've watched would do so. So that's just a little note to me, but at least since she explains what it is, so you don't have to worry. He's like, well, all they're doing is eating bread and meat and drinking wine, and that ain't covering your your vegetation you eat as well, not covering your dairy. And I do like the fact that they tie in the chart of the stats to being like, if you're going to build your stamina and your strength, if you're going to be a well-balanced person, you got to eat a well-balanced meal, which I totally understand because I love starches and meats, but I'm not a big fruit and vegetable eater. I have to make myself do it. So I get that. I like that since she's like, look, I had to get on my soapbox, tell y'all what I thought, and now we can move on. He's like, I've been a hypocrite and we've not had a well-balanced meal. We need to do that. And so I like that they're out to find things that are rich in fat and get some eggs too. Eggs are filling, bring them with you, and then we're going to go. I also like that Laios trusts Senshi to like talk with him one-on-one about their secret like monster hunting things. Chilchuck looks so unbothered. He's just like, fine, we'll just let you guys talk to one another. And Marcille looks so worried. So then we have a basilisk. Yep, the king of snakes that's with a chicken. The spurs are poisonous, as one would expect. And they're like, oh, right, a basilisk. They're like, you get to eat chicken meat. Isn't that exciting? She's like, yeah, but what do you call it if it's only half a chicken? So then Laios says, I really like monsters that are mixed. He's like, I've always loved monsters that were mixed of more than one species. Laios is like, the more, the merrier. Give me all of the creations. He's like, I'm down for it. Let's go. Interesting. All right. He's like, the basilisk makes you appreciate the chicken even more. Laios just a plain old chicken. Who would want that? And Marcelle's like, I would. So the cockatrice and the basilisk, here's a fact about them. Same family, different species. It's been my dream to do a taste test between the two. I was so distracted in the moment because, again, in Berserk, there are cockatrices as well. So I thought it was neat that they kind of like pulled from that series a little bit. So they find the basilisk nest. I like they base the eggs that look like snake eggs, which is fun. And they go to bag them up. But at the same time, this other team is not successful. And the one guy gets spurred by the chicken, and that's how he got poisoned. That all makes sense now. And so Marcille, she's supposed to be casting her magic spell. But to be fair, I don't know what magic would be worked. And in this situation, that would be the most effective, especially with all those people around. I love that Laios just screams at the chicken. Screams at the basilisk. Laios reminds me of, there was a guy that I went to college with, and he talked about, he was like in a city one night, and it was like 3 a.m. and he had to walk back to where his friend was staying, and he was by himself, and somebody tried to mug him. And so he's like, somebody tried to mug me. And he's like, the only thing I could think of was, and to understand this person is to understand that this is exactly what they would do. And I loved him for it. But he's like, so I just started screaming and taking off my clothes. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it worked. He's like, they got freaked out and ran away. He's like, I didn't have anything on me. I have no really way to defend myself. So I just started screaming and taking my clothes off, and they all got freaked out and left me, and they didn't mug me. So I guess if worse comes to worse and you get in a pinch, freak them out. When in doubt, freak them out. So, but Laios screaming at the chicken reminded me of that a lot. That's the first thing that came to my mind. He's like, you guys sound threatening and keep it back. But what I like about it is the one elf mage with the crazy hair, her and Marcille look so skeptical. Chilchuck's like, can we pretend we don't know him? This one guy's dying of poison. But what I like is that Laios's technique, while it seems really goofy, there was really a strategy behind it, and he was distracting the chicken so that since she could come up from behind, they could tag team it and each kill one half of it. Because if Laios had tried, I thought Laios was just going to like go in, take his sword and like hack at the chicken, but that would have left him open for the snake to attack. So they covered their bases and had two take on at once so that wasn't going to be an issue. And I thought that was really cool. I liked that Laios and Senshi thought about that and made the smart move. I also like that the one guy gets poisoned, and as you can see in the background, like Senshi doing his thing, and Senshi's like, well, I've got an antidote, but I was going to use it for lunch. Can we like feed it to him? And they're like, can you cook faster because this guy's going to die? And this one elf maid, she looks really bummed about it, so she must like him. And she's like, please hurry and save him. So they end up cooking him. They chop off the feet and the tail. I know some people eat chicken feet. I cannot. I cannot. And they plucked the chicken until it looked like a normal chicken, pulled out the guts and did this. Look, I can already tell you right now, I am not going to be cooking a chicken on this channel. There's no way. People that think cooking a chicken is easy, no, you are wrong. Very wrong. So no. Although the chopping up vegetables and stuff wouldn't be hard, I'm not making a full-blown chicken. I'd order a rotisserie chicken before we did that. So then, yeah, I like that Marcille is like, I'll eat this chicken leg because it's at least something decent, like they'd serve in a dining hall. Sure. And she even gets distracted. It's like so good. They're like, hey, are you going to cast a spell to heal him? And she's like, oh yeah, let me finish this chicken leg before we do that. So yeah, when they had the chicken bone sitting there, I instantly thought of Carl Weathers in Arrested Development, where he's like, you get a potato and some broth, you got a stew going. So this group, I actually thought that this team was gonna team up with them. I thought these two were gonna try to like replace the two that left. I thought they were gonna ask to join because I mean, Fallon seemed like a mage, so it wouldn't be surprising if there were two mages. And maybe the fact that there originally were two mages maybe contributed to Marcelle's kind of inferiority, because if Phelan or Fallon, I think it's Phelan, if Phelan was a mage and she was really good and Marcelle's just kind of second rate, she would automatically feel like she's not supposed to be there. But we don't know a lot about their backstory yet. But I did think these two were going to join them, but they end up just taking Senshi's advice back to their group that all passed out and that they weren't caring about, by and by, and then just tell them. So they said they've been trying for 3 months to get past this part of the dungeon, and they can't but get past the monsters. And the one guy asks how to get stronger. And Chilchuck's about to tell them, but Senshi just jumps in like super angry, like, well, improve your eating habits first. Quit eating bacon and bread. And they're like, get enough sleep and then exercise. Follow those 3. I like these, like the 3 rules for victory is just eat, sleep, exercise. Love it. Love it. And that's how you get stronger. And they're like, we want to be like them. So yeah, they end up just going back to their party, who are just passed out at their feet. That's so freaking hilarious. I love that there's so much visual humor in this series that they don't immediately call attention to. You just have to kind of like go back and rewatch and figure it out as you go. So I thought that was really funny. But yes. So like, yeah, I want to be like them. Okay. So then for this, they go down into this next level. They're like, are we going to make it to the 3rd floor? And it is really sad because Marcille believes she's holding the group up. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case. They're just being realistic and being like, we're going to have to stop. But they do make a point of saying that red dragons wake up once a month to do their hunting. So they basically have 1 month to get down there and rescue Phelan before she's digested, which is terrifying. Very terrifying indeed. And so Marcelle's afraid that they're holding them back because she's not as, you know, athletic as the 3 of them are. And Chilchuck's like, acting tough isn't helping out one bit. You'll just end up really hurting yourself and you'll end up a burden on the party. So I like that Chilchuck makes a really good point there. He's like, look, we're being realistic. Don't try to fake stuff if it's going to end up making things worse for all of us. Like, just know your limits. Speak up if you need to stop. It's better than pushing yourself and end up causing even more problems. And she's like, well, I could take care of big bats with my magic. And, you know, there's lots of traps, but there's a few monsters. If we're taking a path with few monsters on it, then we're going to need some more vegetables too. So they talk about mandrakes. I know mandrakes from Harry Potter because I grew up with that series. And she's like, well, I'm an expert in magic. You can't just pull a mandrake out. Yes, because it will scream. And if you hear it, you'll either go insane or worse, you'll die. So it'll temporarily make you loopy, which is what happens to her. But if we do the wrong way, we'll lose time. Marcille also strikes me as somebody who is very book smart. But she, unlike Senshi, doesn't have a lot of street smarts. And I like that this episode creates this compromise between the two. Because at first she gets I'm like one of the only people that went to college in my family. So anytime I'm like trying to explain something, my family's like, oh, well, that's just your college education talking. Like, you don't have the street smarts like this. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, and so I felt for Marcille at first because she feels like she is trying to explain how the book does it. And since she's like, well, that's stupid. We don't have time to kill dogs. Like, he's just like, let's just kill the mandrakes and just take them out. That seems so sufficient. Seems so like efficient and will work and save us lots of time, and no dogs or animals have to die. Case in point. And you wonder, and Marcille wonders, she's like, well, why wouldn't the book mention that? If there was something so easy to do, why wouldn't the book talk about it? Because it seems like that'd be a logical thing to start with. We find out later the reason you don't do that is because if you're trying to get the ample taste from the mandrake, just stabbing it releases the toxins in the mandrake and then it ruins the food. So the book had a reason for doing it. She just couldn't articulate what that was. And Laios is like, well, what if we stand far enough away to get it? And she's like, no, that's not going to work. I love the expressions in this series too. I also love how each of them are different. Like Laios's eyes are very bright and wide. Chilchuck and Senshi's are very dark eyes. And then Marcille's are green. It's really cute. But yeah, so they're like, oh, Marcille, you heard the mandrake scream, right? But Senshi, like, he cuts the mandrake up and they're like, we're going to go get some ready. And so poor Marcille, she feels like she's not of any use and she hasn't done things right. So she decides, I'm going to go do it my way and prove to them that there's a reason why it's done as such. So she tries to get the bats out of the tree and ends up scaring a whole bunch of them. Physical comedy shenanigans ensue. And then poor Marcille, she ends up like just getting herself in a tizzy because of the mandrake scream. I like her eyes are going like opposite directions until they correct themselves, and then you know that she's right as rain again. So she's like, and she finally does explain. She's like, the party called me a burden, and I like Chilchuck's like reaction of, oh shit, she took my conversation as being an insult. Oh no. So I liked that. I liked that Chilchuck's like, look, we don't think you're useless. We're just trying to do things as efficiently as we can. And I like Laios is like, look, everybody has different strengths. And Laios is like, your strength is magic. So if we don't need magic right now, let's just save it. And then you can store up all your energy until we need you to help. Laios is a damn Labrador patron saint. I love him. I love his character so much. And I like how while Chilchuck and Laios are having this conversation with Marcille, Senshi's just draining the blood out of a bat. Just draining the blood straight out that bat. Like making blood pudding. My mother went to Florida when she was a kid, and my uncle lived down there, and he had like a dairy farm, and he had some people, they were Cuban, that worked for him. And when she visited when she was a kid, this was like back in the 1970s, so it's been a while. But one day they like all volunteered to they slaughtered a cow and like cooked a cow, and she was like, huh, we didn't ask for this. And then the women there made blood pudding. My mother said they made blood pudding out of the cow's blood, and she was like, I couldn't eat it. She was like, nope, couldn't do it. Just was not her thing. So immediately when I saw the bat being killed, it's like the blood draining, and I was like, oh, they're gonna make like blood. I was expecting blood pudding to be on the menu, but that's not the case. They were just draining the blood so they could cook the bat. I can't get over the one shot of Marcille where she's just looking with her eyes going opposite ways, and Laios and Chilchuck are like, are you okay? Like, that's just that. I'm gonna take a picture of that. That is just like that whole screenshot. The way that they meld comedy with just the seriousness of it is so funny. But she eventually comes back around, and they have all the mandrakes and the eggs, and they make an omelet. We may do an omelet next week. That seems more reasonable. We might do an omelet. And I have an idea. I do have like an idea of how to do some tempura, but it does not involve oil. So I'll let you all know how that goes next week. But we can definitely do an omelet. Omelet would be easy. And I like making omelets quite a bit. So plus it'll be cool if we have like some that are like mandrake and stuff like that. So, I like that he refers to Marcille's spell book as a cookbook, which is funny. And when he gave her the mandrake heads on the omelet, I got that because I don't like seeing like crawfish or like crawdad heads I don't like things with eyes looking back at me being cooked, and that would have been a good example of that. Poor Marcille. So yes, they managed to make it down to this level, and Chilchuck is the blacksmith. I don't know how old Chilchuck is at this point. He looks like he's in his 20s, like maybe late 20s, mid 20s. He doesn't seem young. He seems like he's older, like he's been around the block a few times. I'm going to guess he's like 28. Is my guess. I'm going to guess he's like 28 if I was to guess, because he doesn't seem like he's young. He sounds like he has a very young, a youthful face, but the way he acts feels more mature. So I'm going to say he's like 28 probably. We don't know their ages yet. I would imagine Laios is like 20. Marcel's probably like 20. Senshi's probably like in his late 30s. I don't know, maybe early 30s. Maybe, we'll see. Mid 30s, who knows. But I like that Chilchuck's like, he's the one that investigates all the traps. And he's like, look, there's lots of traps. You hold this sword. Everybody just, he's like, one thing I hate more than anything is people getting my way when I'm working. Chilchuck is a type A personality. He's like, you just stand back, let me do the work, and then you follow my lead. To be fair, if I hadn't been paying attention to him and he did all this, am I slightly crushing on Chilchuck? Maybe? When he has like his jacket off and he just has like the little white button-up shirt, he looks a lot like David Tennant. Maybe that's where that's coming from. I love Laios' personality. Definitely crushing on Laios. But also Chilchuck too. Chilchuck can get it. He can get it. Senshi can get it. But, you know, Senshi's not my type at all. I'm not into the big burly hairy guys. That's not my thing. But Chilchuck and Laios, all right. Chilchuck has a very piratey look. Maybe that's why. But I like his feet are bandaged and he goes around looking for the traps. And Marcille and Laios are great at following. But Senshi, I feel like Senshi intentionally tripped all the traps to see what was going to happen. I feel like that was very, very intentional. I feel like he tripped all those traps to see what was going to happen. Because he says later on he'd been there before. So, but he had never thought of using the traps in a way for cooking. So you have knives popping up, you have the axe coming down, you had the fire and you had the oil. He's like, I can use all these things to make food. And Chilchuck's like, I didn't think of any of that. Like, I don't know where you were even coming from. And him getting mad at him, I love it. And he's like, oh, there's a flame. Like Senshi's not dumb. But my favorite part was like, he's like, not roasted. He's like, no, deep fried. And he's like, Kakiage. And my favorite is Chilchuck, his face when he's like, no. he's like, why are we doing this? He's like, no. He's like, it's not used for that. And he's like, all right, half-foot kid. Which am I kind of shipping Senshi and Chilchuck? A wee bit. Especially the end of this episode where Chilchuck had a little blush and he was like, I could, teach you how to get around some traps sometimes if you teach me how to cook or something. And he's like, oh, of course. So I was like, okay, all right, I'm here for it. We got a half-foot and a dwarf, why not? And he's like, are you an expert in cooking oil, kid? And he's like, I hate it when people call me kid. When he said I hate it when people call me kid, I was like, oh, you're in your mid-20s at least. Because everybody I know that's in their 30s that have a youthful face are like, don't call me kid. Like, they're like, don't say I'm young. And it's like, yeah. Oh my God, I love the back and forth and it's so deadpan. I think what I love about this series too is this is my type of humor. I love really smart, dark, snarky, sarcastic humor. And if you add physical comedy to it and it's just sharp, oh, yes. Delicious in Dungeon is my type of humor. I like it a lot. He's like, fine. He's like, when we deal with the traps, it's me. When you cook, it's you. I love it. He's like, sure, okay. We each have a specialty. And he's like, Marcel's is magic. They don't say what Laios' specialty is. They say Marcel's magic. He's doing the traps and you do the cooking. But they don't exactly say what Laios' skill is. I mean, obviously he has a sword. But I like the message of this latter part of the episode. The message is everybody has their own skill set, their own specialty. And so to have a well-rounded meal, you need all the varieties. You can't just have a bunch of warriors. You can't just have a bunch of bacon. You can't just have baguettes. You need all the different varieties, all the food groups to be a well-balanced team. And so I love that little message in this episode. It's great. So yeah, they work together, they get the oil, and I like that Senshi is smart, and he's like, well, it's olive oil because there's lots of olive trees around here, so that would be an easy commodity. And he's like, and he probably knows from being around the traps, he's like, well, yeah, the fire and everything, it works. So they fry the bat and make bat tempura, and they use some of the leftover basilisk to make the tempura as well. I don't know if we're going to be making tempura. We might just stick to omelets for episode 3 and call it good, and then see what episode 3 gives us for possibly episode 4. We'll just have to see. But anyway, so they make the tempura, they do the spices, they do all that, they get all ground up, and then they do the deep frying. Deep frying is hard. My brother has deep fried chicken before. There was like a Food Wars episode where they deep fried chicken in like peanut oil. It was really good, but he's the one that does good in that. I don't trust myself with oil. That might be a hazard. But yeah, because it is really hard to work with. You either undercook it or overcook it. Getting like in the right is really difficult. Oh, I love the animation of this. It's so cute. I love the animation. I like the leaves that are in there too, which is like, I guess it's supposed to be like basil or spinach or something. I like it. I love the animation style and how everybody looks a little bit different. It's neat. So yeah. And then as they're getting stuff ready, Chilchuck gets like a little bit protective, where he says to him, he's like, well, it's dangerous. He's like, don't ever come in here without me. Got it? You'll end up killing yourself. And I was like, oh, you're making sure he doesn't get hurt, huh? And he's like, I hear you. And he's like, and for the record, the way you handled traps is amazing. You know your stuff. I'm like, oh, and his little blush. He's like, it'll be sad when we go our separate ways, which is like, a little bit of foreshadowing. I love Chilchuck's little blush though. It's so cute. I'm like, I want to get a picture of that at some point. Yes. And then he's like, well, fine. I'll let you teach me how to do traps and everything. And like he's like, well, it's not all that hard. When we get some downtime, I'll teach you a little bit about traps. He's like, oh, really? And he's like, this could go bad in so many ways. But you did teach me a couple of cooking skills, so I love it. This episode is so cute. If you combine everybody's skills, it could be quite delicious. And Laios is like, look at everybody. How adorable. I love it. So anyway, we're going to finish up the cooking from last week in this week's episode and finish up answering the questions. But I really, really, really enjoyed this episode a lot. It was a good episode too. This series is really fun so far, and the episodes are going by far too quickly. So let's finish up the cooking from last week in this week's episode, and then I'll see you all next week for more Delicious in Dungeon. Welcome back, everybody. So we are doing part 2 of our cooking of Dungeon Meshi hot pot. We've been letting it simmer for a little bit, and I realized that we have to still take care of our lobster friends before we can do the main event, which is putting all of our ingredients into the hot pot. So we're going to be doing that this episode. So one thing, since we're not doing what the recipe called for the scorpion tails, is we're basically going to be taking our lobster tail and cutting them open. This will go great. Right? So what you have to do is basically cut down the center of the lobster shell. I feel like Marcille. I feel like her. I can relate to her. I feel like these are monsters. Why are we doing this? So you cut down the center of it. Oh my God. Center of the shell, I'm assuming. Cut down the center with your kitchen shears. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, because those are kitchen shears.
Shut up! They are somewhat, right? They're also broken. That probably does not help matters. They might be a little bit broken. It's fine. This is fine. Cutting this through this is like cutting through a walnut. It is the creepiest feeling. But they said basically to cut through the center of it so that it will let the meat expand. They had some tutorials on this? Okay. Work. They also had some things because you'll notice the tails are starting to want to curl up. They did have some things that said you could poke sticks through or skewers through. We're all work in progress here. So if I did this again, I probably would not pick lobster. Not only is it kind of expensive and bougie, but it's also a little bit, it wasn't a hassle to thaw out, but it is a hassle to get to this point, especially when your goal is just to have a lobster tail when you go to eat crab legs. All right, now we're ready. So we've got this heated up, and so the first step in putting all of our ingredients in, there is an order to it. So they said the first thing would be to add the stem part of the cabbage. So we're gonna add our stems in, add our steams. Then the next part would be to add the scorpions. Oh my God. Let them simmer. I hope they turn bright red. I want them to turn bright red like a lobster tail. Then what they want you to do is to add the mushrooms and the yam. We've got a lot, so we're not gonna add all of the mushrooms yet, just like some for each of us. Like I said, I didn't have oyster mushrooms, so these were just the ones that are in place of it, but we're gonna put some of those in. We're filling up our bowl really quickly. So then we have the leafy part, the yams, and the leafy part of the Napa cabbage. And it says once it's boiling, cover and cook for 10 minutes. So it's starting to get a little boiling. We're gonna take the quartered parts, like you do, stick them in there, because that's what it was supposed to be originally. I am amazed at how much is in this, because there's only 2 of us, and you'd think this hot pot is really big, but then when you start to get food in it, it quickly takes up a lot of space. So we're just gonna add a few little chunks, and then get our leafy cabbage over the top. I have a feeling a lot of this is gonna come back. Oh, the noodles! Right? What? Wait a minute. It just says to add, it doesn't say the noodles aren't included in the recipe. They tell you to prep the noodles, but they don't, they don't tell you what to do with the noodles. They're part of the grave root, so I'm assuming you put the noodles in there. Are you assuming that?
Yeah.
Should probably put them in first. This is problematic. I think the picture did show the noodles in there. We're just gonna put them in the center because that seems like it would work the most. We'll have to go back and add more, obviously, for this. If you do that, it is hot. All right, we're gonna definitely add some more, just like well, we'll go back and add the rest of the mushrooms and more of this later. But we want that lobster to cook, so we're gonna put this in here. We've got it on, it's starting to boil a little bit. It says, once boiling, cook and cover for 5 to 10 minutes. I feel like we're about there, so we're gonna put our little hot pot lid on. It barely fits, but look at that. Look at that, probably not gonna kill us. All right, if you all can see my brother's face right now, he looks mildly concerned of what I've drug him into. He actually was like, why don't we start out with something simpler? And I'm like, well, episode 1 of Dungeon Meshi doesn't start out with something simple. They start out just throwing you into the deep end. So.
I wanted her to do Food Wars first.
Well, we're not doing Food Wars, we're doing Dungeon Meshi. So let's talk about these other questions that have been brought out from Patreon while we're sitting here waiting on our stuff to cook. So El Freya asks, what would be one of the craziest meals that they might end up making in the dungeon? Now, I'm just 2 episodes in, so I don't know, but they keep talking about wanting to eat this dragon that supposedly has ate Laios' sister. So I feel like anything involving a massive dragon, that thing is huge. I don't know how Senshi thinks he's gonna Oregon Trail this and chop up the dragon and make kebabs and take it on the way and just salt it and go. I don't know how they think that's gonna work, but I think that my brother's trying not to laugh. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do that. I feel like, now, do I think they're actually gonna eat the whole dragon? That's a lot. I don't know. He's laughing. Don't laugh at me. I know I'm only on episode 2. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I feel like that would be one of the craziest things. Although there is part of the map where they get to the water level of the castle that the ocean's filled with all sorts of creepy creatures. I don't trust it. I think there's going to be some like squid or octopus or some kind of crazy Leviathan looking Lovecraftian thing. That seems like it might be a problem. That could be a problem cooking. We'll just have to see. So, but that's a really good question. I'm going to be probably thinking about that as we get further on into the series. Lucy Richards asks, what sort of fantasy creature do you think wouldn't make that good of a meal? It doesn't have to be a creature in the show, just simply any high fantasy monster. Now, my brother and I can answer this question. Dragons are my favorite mythical creature. I feel like they wouldn't be that bad. To me, they kind of seem like gator. So I like eating alligator, so I feel like they would taste kind of like alligator. You could fry up their tails or something. Be like a slowpoke tail. I think it would work out great. Phoenixes are really cool, but honestly, I feel like phoenixes, it's kind of like any type of bird. Sometimes it's oily, sometimes it's tough and gamey. Phoenixes seem like they're really elegant, but there ain't a lot of meat on them bones. I don't know how that would work. What do you think, bro? What would be probably like the worst mythical creature to eat?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Phoenix as well. You'd also have to deal with having to constantly chop its head off.
Yeah, or it would just burn up and then you're like, oh, we're back to square one. I would like to say that also unicorns, I don't think horses would be that good to eat personally. I know some countries eat horses, but I don't know. I don't know if I could get around to eat a unicorn. Might be a little bit weird, but that's a really good question. So the next question is from Anime Annie. Based off of character designs so far, if you were in the world of Dungeon Meshi, which race would you like to be? Just based off the design of episode 2, I always pick elves. Whether it's Freerun, whether it's Lord of the Rings, whether it's Dungeon Meshi, I just like the elf design. I also like that usually they're elegant and very elegant, very elegant and put together. Marcille is kind of not that, so she's kind of taking the elf stereotype and changing it a little bit, but I still think I would be an elf. Bro, what would you be?
I am a dwarf and I'm digging hole. Diggy hole.
Yes, my brother would be a dwarf. I'm not surprised by that. No, I would definitely be an elf for sure. Ooh, this is looking like it's, we'll let that, oh my gosh, I almost have too much in there. We'll see how that goes.
Should I got a bigger pot?
I should have got a bigger pot. Oh my gosh, I should have. It's also like leaking. It's fine. Everything's fine. It is natural for it to spit out soup like Free Willy. That is perfectly normal.
Chef Ramsay, I once again apologize for this horror show you are witnessing.
I bet it's gonna taste really great. I bet it's gonna taste really great. So the last set of questions I have are from Damage3245. They ask, which character interests you the most so far and why? I would say as far as, oh my god, that thing is like, we're dripping some soupage. We may have packed that a little too much. Smells really good, if that's any consolation. Look, I didn't sign up for a cooking show. This was just an idea. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. So Damage3245 asks the question, which character interests you the most and why? I would say we're only 2 episodes in. As much as I like Laios, I think the character I'm most interested in is Chilchuck so far, because he's a thief, but he also seems really grounded and also seems like, usually when I think of thief characters, there's kind of like a scoundrel element to them. I think of like Isidro in Berserk, who's a thief motif, and Chilchuck doesn't quite fit that. He feels like a salary man that's forced to be a thief against his will. So I don't know his backstory yet, but I'm really curious. He also seems older than he looks. He looks like he's like 20, but he seems a lot older than that, just based on his demeanor and attitude. So I want to know more about Chilchuck. He's very interesting. I like his relationship with Senshi and the others. He's kind of like just the one soaking up all the chaos and trying to rationalize it. So, but he has his own kind of neuroses, so I want to see what more his character does. And then their other question was, which character interests you the least so far and why? That's really hard because I like all of the characters in the show so far, especially our 4 main leads. I think they're all interesting to varying degrees. I guess if I had to pick just a random character that interests me the least, probably there were 2 that defected at the very beginning. There was a red-haired dwarf woman, and then there was a samurai-looking guy. I guess the samurai-looking guy, because he seems very generic and bland and looks kind of like your run-of-the-mill character you would see in any other like He's like the stock character is what he looks like. He looks like a flat stock character. Watch me be proven woefully wrong. But for right now, he's just like, he left, he's not there. But like Laios' sister intrigues me because there's the mystery behind her character being stuck in the dragon. And then there is the 4 main characters and then the red-haired dwarf. I have a feeling they wouldn't have them in the OP unless they're going to come back at some point. So maybe we'll find out some more info on them, but they're probably my least favorite so far. So I know my brother's just like, I can't say things because then it would be spoilers. Oh, you can see that the lobster tail is starting to get really red. Yes, nice. I feel like when they tell you to not open the oven because they don't want you to do things, it's like, So moral of the story, if you are using hot pot, I wanted to put like all of the things in at once. Clearly that was not, the lobster needed to go in together, but obviously this stuff here did not probably, so. But yeah, so we've got about a minute and a half left on this, and then we're gonna start divvying some of this out and putting them into some soup bowls, and we'll have some stuff to show you all there, but we'll just come back and see that here in a second. Okay, so before we sit down to eat this and tell you all how it goes, I'm gonna kind of sift through here, and the Fly Jing, they sent us with these 2 little sifters, which is kind of cool and nice. So I'm gonna try not to take all of the noodles because I know my bro's gonna want some. They also have like little side things where you can get some of the broth, but also you can take the broth out if you don't want it. Take some of that out and sift that in there. Of the cabbage, you can also sift out that if you don't want it to be too soupy. I'm gonna get one of these shiitake mushrooms. Cabbage in there. Oh, this lobster tail. It's all curled in, which they did tell us it would do that if you didn't skewer it. Oh my God. Open it up here in a little bit to take the meat out. I probably did that lobster entirely wrong, and everybody watching this video is like, you fool, how could you screw up the lobster? And to that I say, I am not a chef. Okay, we'll leave some of them noodles down in there. There. A couple of these button mushrooms. Do that, and then I'm gonna let my brother get some, and I'm gonna put a little bit more to kind of simmer in the hot pot. So, bon appetit, right?
Kitchen cheers.
They're somewhat important. I know I screwed up this lobster. This lobster is a complete fail. It's really bad. It's really bad. So we're just gonna go ahead, but you know what? Sometimes you can just learn from your mistakes, and by learning from the mistakes, you learn that Isekai Kitchen probably knew what they were doing when they chose to do the shrimp and bell peppers versus an actual lobster tail. But that's all right. We're gonna carve a little piece out. Now they recommend with hot pot doing a lot of dipping sauces. So obviously I mixed mine all up kind of together with some soy sauce. I went with some mango habanero, as well as we're a big fan of the sweet chili sauce. It's very Americanized. It's freaking Panda Express, but it is pretty good. So we're just gonna.
Paramedics are on standby, people.
No, they're not. No, they're not. This is gonna be really bad. Okay. No, the lobster, what's left of it, is actually really good. I just shriveled it up inside of its shell rather than do it the proper way, so that's gonna take some time to get out. We're gonna do that later. I'm gonna try the noodles with some of the cabbage, with some of the grave roots, as you were. I don't know, Marcille was like, she's like, oh, these cabbages have been growing on the corpses of dead people, but I was like, well, that's kind of like using fertilizer, so. No, that was really good. And get that shiitake mushroom in there. So far, everything's been a winner. The lobster's good, I just shrunk it to where it's like non-existent.
Should have put the skewer in.
I should have put the skewer in. Oh, the yam, the sweet potato is a really good choice. It's got just enough sweetness that you wouldn't have to use a dipping sauce if you didn't want to. It looks bland, but it's got a really sweet taste. All right, we're just gonna try the 2 leftover mushrooms and see how they fared with the portobello. I love portobello. It is kind of a slimy. Basically with this hot pot, if you don't like mushrooms, this might not be for you, or you need to find some other vegetable to sink into it because there's a lot of mushrooms. No, that's good. All in all, lessons learned. Don't do lobster or know how to properly do it. The shrimp would have been a better idea. The yams, the sweet potatoes are really good. The cabbage and the mushrooms and the noodles. The broth, I was worried about it, but it does not taste overly fishy. It's really light, and I like that. There are some pre-made broths you can get online that are a lot thicker, and I think if I put more miso in it, it would have been thicker, but I didn't want it that salty. So I think overall, this is a great first venture. Having watched episode 2, I think when we come back, Rosif, we might just make an omelet. And make the basilisk omelet. Does that sound like it might work?
That sounds like it might be a little bit more up your alley.
The shade! Basically like, bitch, stay in your lane. But thank you all so much for the questions and for watching me dive into this. I'm really excited to make some dishes as we keep going through Dungeon Meshi and talk more about the series. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next week with more of Delicious in Dungeon.